So for those that know me, it's been a bit of a month. Um, a bit of a month. And when I realized it was my day to vlog, which it was my day to vlog several days ago, I had really intense vlogger's block. And I feel like it's because sometimes when you have a lot going on and a lot to process, but feel the need to externally process, but know that that's not always safe and good, you get locked up a bit. And so I was doing some YouTubing for research or to spark some ideas, and I stumbled across this video called Fear in Art, and how when we create something, when we make something that is ours, that is personally ours, and when we send it out into the world, that's a little bit terrifying. And then I listened to the pod this week, and Hank and John were talking about how it's hard to write books. And it made me think that art is hard to put together, but sometimes it's laid on our heart that it feels necessary for us to create and make and give this thing to the world. And then I started to think of my job as art. And there are parts of my job, no, my whole job involves my whole self. I put my whole self into my job. It's personal, it requires vulnerability, and I believe that it is important and necessary. All of these things I feel about my job, but all of these things, most people will tell you they feel about their art. And so then I started to think, what if I thought of my job as art? And then I was listening to a sermon today for my small group. It's Matt Chandler. I've got a love-hate relationship with the guy, but sometimes he really brings it. And he said, who you ultimately work for is who you worship. Now, I'm in the middle of a job change, and my whole life seems to be very much colored by the fact that I'm changing jobs. What I do will be similar, but the name on my paycheck will be different. And there's been a lot of questions, and I've really wrestled with whether this is the right thing to do, and how to handle it, and how to answer questions, and what to say about it, and how to feel about it. The reality is that just like for artists, they aren't owned by a certain company or gallery or whatever. They might be, but they would all tell you that their most purest art is when they were doing it for themselves or for God. And it made me think that I've gotten really caught up in who I work for. But what if I took a step back, away from the name on the paycheck, and thought of my job as art, which I perform for an audience of one?